3.2 million years ago, deep in the heart of prehistoric Africa, the Earth was a vast and dangerous wilderness. The air shimmered with heat. Herds of ancient antelopes roamed through tall grass. Massive elephants, taller than modern ones, shook the ground with every step. This was the dawn of a new kind of creature, a being that stood halfway between ape and human. They were Homo Habilis, the handy man. Unlike the beasts they lived among, these early humans were not built for strength or speed. They were small, standing barely over 1 meter tall, their bodies lean and covered with hair. But behind their dark, alert eyes hid something no animal had before, a mind beginning to think, to imagine, to remember. Every sunrise was a battle. Lions, giant hyenas, saber-toothed cats, all hunted the same food they sought. Homo habilis learned to move silently, to read the language of the wind, to recognize danger in the whisper of leaves. In the shade of an ancient tree, a small group searched for food. Roots, insects, fallen fruits, anything that could keep them alive. Trail, and in the distance, towering above the grass, stood a creature of nightmares, the ancestor of the giant ostrich. Over 3 meters tall, its long neck swayed as it scanned the horizon. Feathers black as night shimmered under the sun. Its beak, sharp as a blade, could crush a skull with a single strike. For Homo habilis, this was no ordinary bird. Yet, in the face of fear, curiosity grew. One of the young explorers approached its nesting ground. Hidden among dry twigs lay massive eggs, glowing in the light, each one the size of a small boulder. Food beyond imagination, but danger lurked nearby. The first sparks of intelligence flickered in their minds: risk, reward, and choice. The morning heat thickened. The smell of dust and dry grass filled the air. Homo habilis moved cautiously, circling the nest, their hearts pounded. They had never faced a creature so large, so fast, so powerful. But hunger pushed them forward. A young male crouched low, gripping a sharp-edged stone, not a weapon yet, but the beginning of one. He crept closer, step by step. The sound of the wind was the only thing between him and discovery. A twig snapped beneath his foot. The giant bird lifted its head. Its eyes, dark and furious, locked onto the intruder. For a moment, time stood still. Then came the scream, a deep, piercing cry that echoed across the plains. The ostrich charged. The ground trembled beneath its powerful strides. Homo habilis ran, fear exploding through his chest. Behind him, the creature's feet pounded like thunder, dust clouded the air. His tribe shouted warnings, some banging stones together in panic. But amid the chaos, something new happened. Instead of scattering, a few stayed. One hurled a rock at the bird. The young male turned, swinging his stone with desperate strength. It struck the bird's leg, forcing it to stumble. For the first time, an ancient human stood his ground, not just fleeing, but fighting back. The giant ostrich retreated, limping away with a furious hiss. The tribe gathered around the young one, panting, eyes wide with shock and awe. They had done the impossible, not because they were stronger, but because they worked together. That day, a lesson was written into the memory of humankind. Survival was not just about running or hiding, but thinking, planning, and uniting. The first battle between instinct and intelligence had been fought, and intelligence had won. Night fell over the savannah, the world changed. The calls of predators echoed through the darkness, hyenas laughing, lions roaring in the distance. Homo habilis huddled close in a small circle, clutching the precious eggs they had stolen. They cracked them open with stones, tasting the rich contents inside. Warmth filled their bellies for the first time in days. And near the edge of the camp, sparks flickered, a broken branch rubbing against dry bark. It was not yet fire, but something that made them stare in wonder. They learned to nurture embers, to keep them alive through the night. With light came courage. Predators watched from afar, hesitant. But danger was never far. The tribe froze as eyes glimmered in the dark. A low growl broke the silence. Panic spread, but then, again, unity took over. The males grabbed burning sticks, waving them, shouting. The fire cracked and hissed, bright and alive. The cats paused, uncertain, and then turned back into the shadows. Victory once again, not through strength, but through fear of the unknown. That night, under the endless sky, Homo habilis stared into the flames and saw something divine. Fire would become their ally, their weapon, their light. And as stars sparkled above, they no longer felt like prey. For the first time, they had control over the night. Seasons turned to generations. Homo habilis thrived. They learned to shape stones with purpose, sharper, smoother, more efficient. They hunted small animals, cracked bones for marrow, and shared their food within the group. Every sunrise carried echoes of that ancient encounter, the day they fought the giant bird, the night they tamed fire. Each moment had shaped their minds, carving the blueprint of humanity. Over time, they passed knowledge from parent to child. Gestures became meaning, sounds became language. The world was still brutal, but now, they faced it with awareness. They had become thinkers, builders of ideas. Though millions of years have passed, their story still beats in our veins. Every time we invent, cooperate, or dream, it is the same spark that once shone in the eyes of Homo habilis beneath the African sun. They were not just our ancestors. They were the first to prove that intelligence could challenge nature itself. The first to hold a stone and see more than a rock. This is where humanity began, not in cities, not in empires, but in a wild world filled with monsters and fear, where one fragile creature dared to think differently and change the destiny of the earth forever.